Hello and welcome into Pat's Latest. I'm your host, Mike Gambardella, and I certainly picked the right time to attend my first Patriots game as the Pats roll over the Panthers 42-13 in Foxborough as we got a glimpse of what potentially could be the complete form of this Patriots team and definitely what they need to capture in order to make their push here in the AFC East and a big time game versus the Buffalo Bills on Sunday Night Football looming. We break it down for you as well as having the things that need to change on top of a lot of the records and big time stats that were set here on Sunday. But before we go into that, make sure you go down, subscribe for the channel to get all of the Pat's latest info put to your device as soon as it comes out. Get in the comments and let us know what you thought of the big time blow up for the Patriots. Is this just catching the Panthers on a bad day? Or are there really things that they can build off of and the stars that are going to make a difference? Make sure you also give us that like and go back and check out all of our old episodes after this one. We start with a look at this new version of your New England Patriots, and it comes by completely responding to a very, very tough game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. When you turn the ball over 5 times, you essentially handed Pittsburgh a victory. So to be able to take ownership of that and come out and execute in all 3 phases was really impressive by the New England Patriots. And it was actually the Panthers that came out, ran right down the field. They scored the first touchdown of the game and then unfortunately clanged the extra point up against the upright. And from that point on, it was just all bad for the Panthers and all good for the Patriots as they racked up their largest margin of victory since week 5 of 2022, a 29-0 shutout of the Detroit Lions. And it's actually the first 40 burger for the Patriots since way back in week 17 of 2021, a victory over the Jaguars. So again, finally seeing things come to fruition, and good things, yes, and some maybe surprising things as well. We talked about when would they finally take the reins off of Stephon Diggs. Well, guess what? It happened. He became that true number one option, finally getting to that 100-yard receiving mark, but it did come at the expense of what we predicted here as well. Pop Douglas falling out of favor in this offense. I think that slot position is going to become Stephon Diggs. He's going to be that number one wide receiver. That explains why Pop Douglas saw just 7 total snaps in the game. That is putting him down as the Patriots wide receiver 5 now, playing both behind Mac Hollins and Kyle Williams as well. So while some transitionary things coming through, some surprising ones as well, but most importantly, being able to get Stephon Diggs involved, which really led to this huge win for the Patriots and needed one, obviously, with that performance against the Steelers and evening the record at 500. Truly important, especially knowing that you've got to play the Bills on Sunday Night Football in week 5. But again, I think it all starts with special teams in this one. People will talk about Drake May and Stephon Diggs and the defense really holding the Panthers away from everything outside of that initial touchdown and a late one in garbage time. But it was Marcus Jones and the special teams, a franchise record for the Patriots, 167 punt return yards to go along with an 87-yard punt return touchdown that Marcus Jones, asked about it, said, I can be pretty ruthless out there. And that's exactly what it was. And for me, and sitting there watching the game, you kind of got dejected seeing that, first touchdown by the Panthers, a 3-and-out by the Patriots. They come back again. They finally, get the punt to go, and they closed on it fast. And it looked like he absolutely should have just called a fair catch as everything's crowding around him. He never does. Immediately takes it, makes one move, and he was off and making amazing moves left and right. Kudos to the team. And that's exactly what Marcus Jones gave when given the ball post game. But again, that really set the tone and kicked everything off. So it allowed Drake May to be Drake May by only passing, or I should say, having 21 pass attempts total, going 14 of 17 for 203 yards, but 3 total touchdowns. So uber efficient for Drake May, not having to put it all on his shoulders and pass between 40 and 50 times, but working within the flow of the offense and letting Josh McDaniels be Josh McDaniels, getting it in and out of the breaks, motion, play action, etc. And that leads directly to that breakout for Stefon Diggs that you really had been waiting for. And it has been a very long time for Stefon Diggs. The 100-yard game actually snaps a streak of 22 straight games for him without a 100-yard game. So hopefully this is the start of some very big things. It's also the start of a big return for the Patriots as Christian Gonzalez was back out there. And that really leads into the defense being able to play a lot differently as he played 70% of the snaps, which a guy coming back off that hamstring injury, really good to see. And hopefully he'll start to work his way back up, maybe 75% to 80% next Sunday night, but was able really to hold Ted McMillan in check. And he was very impressive. And you can see why the Panthers are so high on him. The size speed combo, the hands, fortunately for the Patriots, unfortunately for him, the Patriots defense was putting constant pressure on Bryce Young, who never got comfortable at all and was off the mark several times throughout while targeting Ted McMillan. And finally, from Mike Vrabel at the end of the game, really speaking to the real complete team effort here, and by saying that's how we're supposed to play. That's what the expectation is. He sees it. That's exactly what you want. Now, will it continue to happen? That's really up for debate, but we'll get our quick answer again with Buffalo coming up soon. And while there was a lot of good, there's still, I think, a lot to figure out for the running game. And a bit of a surprise as Ramondre Stevenson did get the start after those two killer fumbles last week. And again, yes, he helped that Patriots team go down to Miami and come away with a victory, but gave it away against the Steelers. So again, remained the quote-unquote starting running back, got the start, and led the team actually with 28 snaps out of the backfield. It was 14 for Travion Henderson and 9 for Antonio Gibson, who also scored a touchdown in this one. But again, I think the way that it's structured is still not up to the standard because the Patriots had just a 38% success rate when running the football, and that's not going to get it done. That included just a 20% success rate on first down. So again, there's not a whole lot of change there, but I think you saw that they still want to do this by committee. They were able to cobble together a 100-yard rushing day, helped out by a rushing touchdown from Drake May and an extra 11 yards there. So he didn't have to do a ton with his legs. So it really was the trio. For my money, they are waiting for Travion Henderson to step up. I think if he starts to continue to get comfortable, break a few more, you could see them start to feed him more touches. He additionally has been known as a pass blocker. There were some instances where he's having to square off against bigger linebackers, bigger linemen, and he's not quite there yet, not quite ready. So, again, I think expect to see it slowly begin to work for Travion Henderson in his favor, but really expect Ramondre Stevenson to lead the touches, have Antonio Gibson involved, and that it will probably be the same formula that they use coming up in Buffalo. So for those who are going to be the Travion Henderson truthers, don't get too excited yet. Expect that committee to continue and expect Henderson to be more involved in the passing game when applicable. And finally, from all the good news, there comes the stark reality that you just did beat a Panthers team that is lower in the overall standings, if you will, or the power rankings. And now you're going to go up against a team that is probably 1 or 2 in everybody's rankings and wearing off against Josh Allen in Buffalo against those Bills. Now, luckily, this is not being played in January, so weather shouldn't be too much of a factor, but the bright lights will be on, that 8:20 kick, and really the world, in a sense, getting a first look at both Mike Vrabel's new version of the Patriots, getting a look at Drake May under the lights, and it really becomes, for the Patriots, interestingly enough, getting a first look at everything they want to be. There's already the comparisons between Drake May and Josh Allen. They have a run game that is significant, obviously, with May doing it, but with James Cook, got the big deal, showing it why he's running all over the place. They don't necessarily have a star wide receiver, but everybody has an impact and participates the same way the Patriots want to spread it around. And having a staunch defense, maybe not the household names, and Bosa's now over there as well, but it's a bit of that bend don't break. I said it while at the game, actually, that it seems to be back for the Patriots. They only had one sack in the game against Bryce Young, but we're putting constant pressure on him. And yes, while did move the ball a little bit, they just never got those scoring chances. So again, knowing when to come up with those stops. So you're starting to see some of that from the Patriots. We'll see how much that actually translates against one of the top teams in football. We'll continue to break it all down here for you all week on Pat's Latest leading up to that Sunday showdown, and we'll have it all for you right here on the channel. So make sure, go down, subscribe, get in the comments, let us know what you think about this big victory, who's the true star, and what do we need to watch out for in Buffalo coming next Sunday. Make sure you give us that like, and now go back and check out all of our old episodes so you know exactly what's going on with your Patriots. We'll continue to have it all right here for you. Fight on, Foxborough.